Welcome to the AdaptiApps Technical Develop and Deploy demo. This video is a representation of the AdaptiApps tutorial that you can find on the Exchange and My Exchange. During the develop portion of this demo, we're going to create an app with 4 distinct pages. You'll see on this screen on the far bottom left is the first screen we'll build. The temperature control will be connected to an NPM, and the room service call will be connected to the AS. Our secondary page will have a boiler and chiller that will also be connected to the AS. Our third page, we will have a connection to an IP camera, and our fourth page will be connected to the web. Before we show all 3 versions of the deploy, we need to first create the app itself. We'll call this Hello World. And we'll set up the first page. Just do a background image, set the navigation, and set the icons. And we'll go ahead and add our time and our temperature control. And we'll set up our communication connection. And set in our logins and passwords. I'll add in the room service. Set its icons. And our data source as well. We'll create a secondary page. Add the background, add the navigation. We'll add in our boiler and chiller. And we'll bind these as well, name them. Set the access. And we'll go create our third page. Add in the navigation. Set those icons. And we'll move over connection to our camera and the URL connection to the IP camera. And we'll create our last page. Again, setting the icons. We'll move over the web connection and bind to the correct URL. And now we will deploy. Our first deploy method is called generic. Here we're logging in to the AdaptiApps manager. And we're going to go create a new user app. Paste our archive path from our deploy earlier and select the licenses, in this case unlimited deployment. From this point, We can go ahead and activate via the AdaptiApps generic shell app. If you've got the QR code, you can scan it, or you can type in the user app ID in the provided space. Once done, the app will load. And as you can see here, we're connecting. I can change the temperatures. I can turn on and off room service. The boilers and chillers are connected. We have our connection to our IP camera and the web, which is schneiderelectric.com. Now, our second deployment method we call managed. We'll come in here and re-log into the AdaptiApps Manager. And we'll go first and create a role. And we'll call this demo. And we'll go set up a user now. And this is where you'll create your login ID as well as the password for this user. We can go over here to the user apps and add a new one. This is where we paste in our archive path for our deploy as we did earlier. And we'll select the role and the license. In this case, we'll pick trial. Now, if I move over to my app and pull the ID from my app, I can paste it or type it in here. In this case, it's the 9421 number you see where it says user interface ID. I will type that in here. And other relevant information, save it. I can go in at this point and select the app to push to. And let's see here, it should be deploying. There it is loading. And this is where I would do my login and password that I set up earlier. And now we're connected. Again, change the temperature, boiler and chiller are active and connected. Our camera is connected and streaming. And we have web. Our last deploy method is called web. I'll log back into the AdaptiApps Manager again. And we'll create our user app with the archive path of the deploy that we did earlier. I'll set the license to trial. And we'll create a new guest. And you'll input their name as well as their email address. And set the date that they're allowed to access the app. We'll go ahead and deploy. And if I go over to my iPad and go to my mail, I see that I've gotten an email, and I can click to set up the deployment to my iPad. As you can see, it is loading now. And we are now connected. Same access, same results as the previous ones, connections to the boilers and chillers, to the IP camera. We have our connection to the web as well.